How's it going? I think this needs to be the regular intro music. Just non-stop funk. So, today we are drawing some orcs. How are you guys doing today? You good? Because I am doing very well. Just want to make sure this character's actually in the middle before I start inking myself into a corner. Cool. So, where should we start on this? I reckon we start in the face and work out. I'm sure I got all the right pens selected. I'm on the right layers. There we go. This is the second in the Big Bad Evil Guy series. Last week's was the not cleric, the cultist. Who, if you want to see the cultist, is on Instagram and everything like that. Let's see. This one will hopefully follow by the end of next week, maybe. Let's see. Let's start with this nose. Big, strong nose. Her nose has absolutely been broken about 100 times. Been excited to do this one for a while because I absolutely adore orcs in every way, shape, or form. It is no mystery that most of my D&D campaigns end up dealing with orcs in some way, shape, or form. Let me know if all the audio is at the right levels, if I'm coming through alright, if the music's coming through alright and everything like that. Let's see, I don't want to do all of that massive strap on the face quite yet. I think we'll do some of the hair up here first. Awesome. Also, hello Goblin, how are you doing? I know I was speaking to you like, what, like half an hour ago? An hour ago, maybe? Actually, I'm glad you're here now because I need you to double check the emote for me. See if that's worked or proper. Slowly adding in the all the sub and affiliate stuff. It's only the one emote so far. We'll see. Because I've not had any word whether it's been actually like okayed or not. It's fair. It's the end of the day. I think you're allowed to be dozy. But you see, we've got channel barrels as well now instead of channel points. So I thought that'd be fun and on brand. Let's see if it's even on there. Because I'm still wondering about all the emotes and stuff, like what I want to do with them. So if anyone has any ideas, then I will probably do them, to be honest. Did a lot of big dreads because I've been watching a lot of people playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla recently. So all the sort of Viking-esque dreadlocks have absolutely influenced this this Orcs hairstyle. Okay. Some very tight dreads on this orc. And now I think I'm in a position where I can draw this strap properly. Cool. There's a lot of this character to draw. I really had to rein in how many like talismans and little extra bits and pieces she was going to have. I also had a lot of trouble looking up any reference for this orc, because you look up any can't see it. I guess it hasn't been approved yet then. Well, there's a corgi emote. Well, that supersedes any other emote then. That's it. Let's see. See if I can use it at all. No. It's not working at all. That's fine, we've got a corgi emote, so I think we're all set up. The great thing about these dreads is I can actually be pretty haphazard with them. unlike drawing like an elf or something like that, where every hair would be in pristine condition or the exact right place, an orc's going to have a little bit of frizz. I love it. So, what have I been up to this week? So, finishing that cultist over the weekend was no mean feat. The shading on that ended up taking way longer than I thought it was going to. But I think it turned out really, really well. It might be one of my favourite pieces over the past, like, maybe even year. And just a little bit there. And then she is a massive war chief, so something I really struggled with doing like some research and like mood boarding for this character was finding any other orc woman that wasn't just a giant green woman with massive tits. So I hope this one will do very well on Google Images when it's done. As an orc that is absolutely not just fan service. Some massive chunky lip rings as well. The great thing about orcs are they are not typically known as particularly great jewel crafters. So big, chunky, uneven hunks of metal are sort of perfect. Yeah, so we've almost got the eyes, the nose, the mouth all done. There's the majority of the face. Already. She is definitely an orc through and through. So I'm conflicted about orcs and how angular they want to be. And how sort of chunky you want to make them. Like, that's all malformed grotesqueness, because depending on where you look, and like media and things like that, orcs can be all sorts of tropes, either like experiments or mutations, all sorts of stuff. I feel outside the stereotypes, there's a lot of leeway with what you want orcs to be. And then this ear has been very much chewed off, hacked off, some way, shape or form, lost. And some big old stretches. Let's make that hollow. Give it some extra detail. Maybe not. Just a big plate of silver, maybe. And then we'll do the rest of these dreadlocks here. So that goes around like that. Just following this direction of hair. The actual skull over. All the hair that it's scraping from. I don't think there's ever been like an official answer of whether like orcs really have hair or not, because I know in 40k they are canonically fungus, so they don't have hair at all. So any hair that you see on a an orc in 40k is hair squigs, a little creature that grows a top knot that they'll clamp on like a hair extension. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but it seems like all the humour that 40k has was reserved for orcs. Space Marines completely humorless. Eldar, Tau, Necrons completely humorless. Orcs, funny as fuck. They do get good weaves. Squig weaves. Or weave squigs. I don't know if there's any like actual artwork of hair squigs in particular. Let's see. Hair squig. Nah, there's nothing. There's hairy squigs. There's no dedicated hair squigs. It's one of my favourite 40k tidbits. It's fucking hair squigs. Right. Let's crack on. Nope. So I think this needs redrawing as well here, actually, which is easy enough because God bless digital art. Right, we'll leave the eye because I usually leave eyes to near the end, just in case something dramatic changes throughout the rest of the piece. Let's do this big skull, like centerpiece around the collar. And what would this be without me drawing at least one skull? I don't think it would be a genuine explosive barrel stream without a skull or two. So I always forget about wolf skulls, is that they have this weird ridge at the back. And this one is up here. And then this bit is actually surprisingly smooth because all the teeth sort of come under an angle. So you actually don't see much of it. And just build out this sort of topology here, give it some texture, so you actually see it's got some form to it. And then we'll start with the big ass fang, because you know that's first. So that's something I haven't done on here yet. Is to sell a tusk as being a little bit more rugged and 3D. You just give it those little lines at the bottom, almost like ridges. And then I was unsure about the three like sort of metal studs on here, so I'm not sure if I'll put those in at the moment. This here. And then the thing with the back teeth on wolves is they actually get pretty wide and long. And then what I'll do is, so I've just drawn on the sketch layer black lines, but I think we can actually give the rope or the string attaching the skull a little bit more like texture and thickness to that. And then this one over here as well. Nope, not happy with that line. There we go. And then this string over here as well. And we'll have one going underneath. It's been wrapped. No, not like that. Have it bending and forming around the skull rather than straight across it. And paying attention to the actual ridges I've drawn underneath as well. Have this one here as well, some down here. And then bring the opacity back on that back up, and then I just erase some of the bits underneath, like this. Another thing I love about digital, and draw on top of things as layers. Merge that down because I'm happy with those. Oh. On this. These bits down here. Cool, I think that's everything. And then where do we want to go next? What's the front? What's not obscured by anything? It's all kind of flowing back into itself, really. So I've got this big leather strap up here. And I usually do leather straps so they go over, hook around, and under like that, which is where they should go. That's usually what you want to do. But I think with an orc, it's much more a direct approach to go down and out and up and over. So like the wrong way. So in theory, like it'd be easy to just pull off, like pop the button off. But counterpoint to that, it's easier to get on, which I think an orc would do. Then it's my pen there. There we go. Because then I'll whack a big old stud there. Scuff marks. And then underneath there. Do that. I think on another layer. Let's do this hoop. No, I'm not feeling that bit yet. I reckon let's continue on with some of the leather straps. So now we know where the inside of this hoop will be. We can draw accordingly. And let's go under here. It's all being twisted up. How do the lines work for that though? That line's actually a little bit wrong. There we go. Because this is all getting folded underneath sort of like the armpit here. So it's leather, but it's all going to be like wrinkled and folded over and twisted. So it's going to be a little bit more looking like fabric than it is hard leather. And this is under. And then sort of as it like bends and folds, it sort of concaves a little bit because it doesn't deform quite like fabric does. So you get these little weird bits here and there. Continue this on. And that's starting to look good now. And then this one across the chest, much easier one. And then basically we've got the outside of that ring that we can fill in the blanks almost. We don't have to worry too much about it being a perfect circle as long as it's roughly correct. And like I said before, orcs are not ones for perfect craft. A lot of this will be stolen on the battlefield, salvaged, looted. So almost the more imperfect the lines are, the more orcish it'll actually look. And this goes like that. Pretty much tie her in there. And let's do this little bit of fur here. It's been coming out from being tucked under here. Fur is something I absolutely dread drawing until I actually come to it. It's not that bad, but it's a very intimidating thing to draw for me. He says, then proceeding to draw everything but the fur. with fur, really, it's just having the know of which direction the fur's going. Because like wood or anything like that, it all has a grain. And not having it too uniform. So I think this line and these lines here can be redone. Cool. And then we will go to the rest of this little, I don't know what you call it, it's not quite a shoulder plate pauldron. It goes underneath the shirt here. More rivets mean sturdier. No, not happy with that one there. Then go a little bit further on. Cool. So then I think consistency, we need a line there because that's the continuation of the leather strap going across the chest. And then that one around. Because that's basically this same leather strap going all the way across the chest and disappearing back into what will be more fur on the other shoulder. Before we do that, we have these leather collars which break up the armor quite nicely, I think. I think more studs on here. Almost like these studs go off into the distance. Not in the distance, like in sense the scene, but like into the distance of like they sort of disappear into the folds of the character. I'm actually not happy with the spacing on those at all. It's dreadful. And then we shall, I think we'll do the fur on the other side, and then we'll do those shoulder bits, and then we'll go onto one of the arms, I think. Just give the actual fur here a little bit more depth. So and how it's going to come out, so fur's coming out here. And the fur coming out of here is sort of going off at loose ends. It has this sort of broad direction to it. But it's not as tamed as the other side. So again, as long as we know which way the fur's generally going, they're usually sort of golden. Maybe even here. So have the fur coming out a little bit, like it's more of a shape. Even up there. So she's got this big fuzzy warm collar. Something for all terrain. So this pauldron, actually wanted some more shape to this rather than just sort of bending over the shoulder. So it's squared off a little bit more. And this one as well. So again, they have the same general sort of shape, but they don't quite match. Because maybe they were looted, or they're at the very least made on separate occasions. They weren't made specifically to fit together. Maybe they've been a little bit more repurposed. Right, and then I think that'll be part of what is this sort of like leather vest she's wearing. But I think we want to go and you poor chewy orcs. They'll never admit it, but they're absolutely just freezing to death every moment. So this false arm, we'll go on to do that as well. So rather than going from the shoulder here and drawing out, we'll start with the hand, because that's at the forefront, and then everything else we can draw backwards. There's no need to draw more than we need to. And then here as well. And back here. Do you know what? I'm not feeling this music at all. I want something a little bit more upbeat, I think. Let's see what else we can drum up. What was I listening to last time? Let's have a look at some playlists. Some orchestra. Just fucking non-stop war drums. We've all heard this one before, but I like it. It feels more me. It's a little more upbeat and more like an event. Also helps keep us awake after a day's work as well. Okay. Merge that down while I'm thinking about it. That line goes too far. Again, these don't have to be too perfect because you know an orc with a prosthetic is going to beat the hell out of that thing. I'm not liking the shape of that pinky. No, 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 no. I think my original sketch was a little bit better. Yeah, tucked in a little bit more. And then down here. Almost like a claw for that. And having that down there. And then to tie it all together and tell us that it's all mechanical, rivets. Rivets everywhere. More and more rivets that we know what to do with. These big forearm sections. With more rivets. Then, little detail on the elbow joint. I reckon taking the split limb of the forearm and bringing it up the that's the forearm, I don't know, 5 arm, whatever, upper arm. Almost gives the illusion of it's mimicking musculature, even though really it's not. No. How's it going, Raggle? Good to see you. It's going well, my man. I hope you're doing well as well. I appreciate the follow as well. Let's see, am I following you? I'm not. Because you're a streamer as well, aren't you? Just have a quick cheeky search of your name. Absolutely. Tombstone is legit one of my favourite movies of all time. There you go, bud. Man, Tombstone, I could talk all day about Tombstone. It is... And it's so, like, left field for me as well. Because, like, maybe other than, like, Wild Wild West, like... Hellboy films just don't quite do it for me. But Tombstone, holy shit. You actually went out at Dog Holiday. Amazing. See, that is one of those... Dog Holiday, I think, is one of those costumes. It's a bit like... you know, the Deadpool costumes give you a little bit of permission to just be a little bit of a bastard all night. Doc Holliday also gives you that same right to just be an unending fountain of sass for the entire evening. It's the perfect excuse, like, if someone tells you you're too drunk, it's just, I've now begun to defile myself. It's brilliant. Yeah, it was bewilderingly low done, like, well done. Man, it's good to have you here as well. So I'm glad you're doing well. What's on the what is on the agenda for your week or your streams? What's going on? Give me the deets. Promo yourself. We're just drawing a big badass orc in here. So I feel like everyone already knows what they're in for. Awesome. Yeah, man, thank you. I try and think that I'm on Twitch at the very least I'm an artist first, and then I do games second. But doing all the games on Twitch is a lot of fun. It's proper suckered me in. A lot bigger. And this is a big open space that we can just put massive fucking rivets on. Which is the theme for this character at the moment, I feel. So I don't know about any of you guys watching, but this week for me has been going at such a slower pace than last week, and it's been so nice to have. Last week was crazy. It felt like just a week of Thursdays, non-stop. But this week, it's nice and chill. It's very much welcome. Like big, sinewy muscles. Oh no, it must be your turn then. If you're just having a week of Mondays. I don't know, maybe I'll have the same run of luck next week. I mean, it's just your turn. The whole like, this too shall pass. Next week, watch out for it. It'll be absolute corker. No worries, man. I'll try and pop down one of yours as well. So I am 100% here to build a community and actually interact with more people and streamers. So, have you got a schedule? Jim Bob, what's up? How are we doing? Let's see. I'm good, man. I am just doing a little bit of socializing with Big Daddy. When is he next live? Jackbox. Okay. 1 in the morning. Maybe not. Oh. Big Daddy, Saturday, 7 o'clock. GMT. Borderlands 3, I think I can get down for that. I'm really good, man. I'm full of beans this week. Last week was running on empty, like from the get-go, but this week, somewhere, somehow, I've managed to find some energy. I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, just joined her Discord, and he was there, and we immediately bonded over Tombstone and how fantastic that film actually is. People know Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer from all these other movies. It's like, no. They cowboys first and foremost. So, this is too clean at the moment. I think we can dirty it up, scuff it some. Man, like, it is hands down my favorite movie of all time, and like it's a film where even if you don't like westerns, you're gonna like this film. Every single line of dialogue is like a box quote. It is just all one-liners throughout the entire film. It's a really weird pace where every single line is just, oh, they wanted that for the box. Oh no, they wanted that for the box. Oh, that would go on the poster. That's for the advert. Oh, this is all just absolutely brilliant. Man, you love westerns and you haven't seen Tombstone. Alright, that is... If you're willing to agree to this, I want to know what you think about it next week. Your homework for next Tuesday is to go and watch Tombstone. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. Where are you based? Are you in the UK or are you in the US? I'm sure we've talked about this before, but my memory is not great. No, this is how enthusiastic I am. I will search it for you. I will find it for you to make sure you can watch it. It's on Disney Plus and Amazon Prime for money. If you have Disney Plus, oh, I actually just got Disney Plus earlier today, so I think that might be on the list of things to watch tomorrow. It will absolutely make my week. I could easily just put down the pen now, stop drawing, and then just gush about Tombstone for the rest of the night. Yes, absolutely. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy in the world. Like I think I've talked about this before, but I love the art direction of Star Wars. But everything I've seen of The Mandalorian is fantastic. Um, and it's a very sort of down to earth, but it's a much smaller story in the Star Wars universe, which I really appreciate. I'm really looking forward to getting to. And WandaVision looks fucking incredible. It looks like it's riffing on one of the Vision comics, which I really, really love as well. It's just called Vision. I'll have to see if I can find it real quick. Me googling skulls. Vision. Let's see if I can find the actual cover. Here it is. I think it's slightly based on this series, The Vision, where basically it's taken from the other point of view of the Vision making his own family. He has like Vivian and Viz, and I think Vip the dog, where he tries to build his like suburban perfect life. Whereas I think it seems like Scarlet Witch, Wanda, is basically doing the same thing, and how they're superheroes, so they don't really get to have that. So I'm really excited to get into WandaVision. Starship Troopers as well is a classic movie. You can't go wrong with it. And yeah, Disney gets so much money these days that it's like, do you want to give them more? Like, are we feeding the beast? But they've got such massive wallets to swing around. They're getting so much content out there. It's madness. So yeah, it's almost, they must be doing so well. Like Netflix as well, with everyone living from home or working from home rather throughout the pandemic, and like just how much people can like actually watch from home rather than being in the office. Right. So. Yeah, I put it off for the longest time. I got really into YouTubers and Twitch streamers. Um, it's only recently that I've started watching Netflix and things like that as well, while I'm at work, whatever that means these days. But yeah, so absolutely blasting through Star Trek Voyager at the moment, and loving every second of it. I say every second. Yeah, Netflix has most of the Trek TV shows. It's got original series, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, obviously Discovery. I think there's the old original series animated show as well, which I think it had the original cast on it doing all the voices, but the animation on that is rough. So yeah, if you want to catch up on all, or if you want to revisit all of the Star Trek shows, it's all on Netflix. What is it? Netflix, yeah, definitely. Had not seen any Star Trek for the longest time because I never had the channels as a kid growing up to actually see it all. But then I got really into a Star Trek tabletop war game, and all the cards and like the powers and abilities and the ships were based on like directly from the TV show. So you would have like your ship, and then you'd have your captain card for that ship, and it would be Captain Kirk or Captain Picard, but it would be a screenshot of the TV show. So it would be Captain Picard as a still frame from this episode on this season. And they got into all these abilities that were sort of named like one-off episodes, one-off characters and ships that only appeared for like one episode or got mentioned in passing. So it's like, I'm going to use my ability, like make things up, or like attack pattern alpha and shit like that. That they said in that one episode of Voyager. So I thought, you know what, I'm enjoying this game. All these cards are here. Let's actually go and like view the source material. So for the longest time, it was a weird sort of. I'd watch the show and then I'd see it line up with cards that I'd seen elsewhere. So it's like you've seen a meme on the internet and you see like where that meme came from, and you go, "Oh, it's from this film," and then you see the scene that the meme is from, and you go, "Clicks, yeah, I know where that's from. Culturally, I know where this is from now." So it's like a weird reverse education, which has been really fun to go and do. And honestly, I've just been really liking Star Trek, to be honest. It's hokey 80s, 90s TV shows, like shows garbage at some points, but other points, it's just so much fun. So yeah, I think what 5 seasons into Voyager at the moment. I'm really liking it. I started again. I got to like season 4 last time, before something else distracted me. But this time I think I'm gonna see it all the way through. And still, my favorite is DS9. I know it gets a lot of shit as a Star Trek show because they weren't Star Trekking around. It was all based on the one station, mostly. So it was a very un-Star Trek show in a lot of ways. But I actually really liked it. Especially coming off the back of original series and Next Generations, which are all basically like Monster of the Week every episode, and every now and again you'll get an overarching plot pop up, like one in every 5 episodes. DS9 felt like, okay, we're going to dig our heels into this area and really explore what it's like for these people in this area. It's like, oh shit, I've never actually seen that before in Star Trek, so it's great to see what normal life kind of looks like. It was a really refreshing change of pace. See, Goblin, you were saying you won't get started on Star Trek because you won't shut up. I won't shut up once I get started on Star Trek. I've not even seen all the damn stuff. I think now I've got I've just like what signed up for basically every video streaming service at the moment. I already had Netflix. Now I've got Amazon Prime, partly for Twitch, but also partly for just ordering shit. Then having Amazon Prime as well. There's Star Trek Lower Decks on there now and Picard. It's even more Trek to absorb, and that's not even to touch like the films. Was it J.J. Abrams films? I think I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen the other two. So I think there's a lot to catch up on there. Yeah, Star Trek. I will talk about Star Trek for a long time. Yeah, same. I saw the first one, and I never intended to miss the other ones, but it just never like lined up at the cinema with when I was free. Absolute goblin. Tell me everything you love about Star Trek. Yeah, it was a little heavy-handed with the lens flare, that first film. I don't know if they dialed it back for the other ones. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's like a counter of like how many lens flares were used in the entire film. See if like shot for shot how many flares there were. Oh no, his wife called him out on it. Oh no, that's... I'm not sure how... I mean, you've got to be able to take criticism from your spouse. Like, if there's anyone you should be able to take criticism from, it's definitely your spouse. But unless she's like a movie producer or anything like that, it's just... Sweetie, yeah, it was quite a lot. Like, love of my life, darling, what do you think of my latest film? It was shiny. It was real shiny. Where am I going next with all these straps and belts? And this character's very close to becoming a Final Fantasy character with the amount of belts on her. No, that's all space is streaks of light. It's all space, the great unknown. Well, we actually found out what was in space, and it's just big streaks of light. I assume there is like a legitimate scientific explanation of why technically space kind of is just all streaks of light. I'm not sure about that line being there. Because this. It's like it's definitely one of those like science facts you kind of learn and go, fuck off, is it? Where it's like space is beige. Like the void of space isn't black, it's beige. Because there's so many stars out there that there is no black night sky. It's just the light hasn't traveled that far yet, or like the light that's hit your eyes, or like your eyes haven't accepted the light enough and developed a full picture of the sky. It looks black. That's only because you've not seen anything yet. But if you leave it all out there, it's beige. Let's see if we can find the reason why, because I'm sure I'm misremembering it. Fine. Want to sign me up to things. The new scientist. Alright. The universe is not turquoise, it's beige. 2 billion light years. Um, so I'm not going to read this entire thing. It's someone was wrong and thought it was turquoise, but it's not. It's beige. They determined the cosmic color by combining light from over 200,000 galaxies within 2 billion light years of Earth. The data came from the Australian 2DF Galaxy Redshift Survey and the Anglo-Australian Observatory. And yeah, they thought it was like this sort of turquoise color, not too far off this water bottle. But then they had to go back on it and say, actually, no, it's beige. So when you're watching Star Trek Next Generation, you've got all that lovely 80s like beige cream, like computers and hallways and things like that. It's actually all just space camo. It's a way more tactical choice than you think. Yeah, personally, I think I would have liked turquoise. It's a bit more of a dramatic color than beige. This space being beige kind of feels like a Monty Python sketch. Like it's such a space such a wondrous place, but it's actually just a really boring color. It's definitely a Monty Python sketch. Definitely on like the scales of things, like space got less cooler, but beige got a little bit cooler because it's now the color of space. Yeah, so you don't get like midnight blue isn't a thing anymore. It's all space void beige. The beige hole. Space void beige. It sounds like a Games Workshop color. You've got your chaos black, your ultramarine blue, your blood red, and void beige. So yeah, I never intend these streams to be educational. It's just a fun hangout time. But yeah, space is beige. Whether that makes space cooler or not, I'll leave it up to your discretion. No worries. Yeah, the art's how I pull people in, and then I push on them my beige space agenda. Like, oh, thanks for coming, thanks for joining, thanks for hanging out. While you're here, just a quick heads up, space is beige. But anyway, back to drawing orcs. Space is beige. Man, if you guys want to turn it into like the science hour, I'm down for that. Like, if you have any other like just weird science facts, then I would love to hear them. Yeah. This is a lady orc, and soon to be probably one of the only female orcs on the internet without her tits out. is what I found from like looking at reference images. I was like, okay, so what do other people do for sort of orc armor? And like I googled like orc queen and orc war chief and orc like warrior and orc woman. It's like, oh, they're just green girls with their tits out. I was like, I do try my best to not draw my characters tits forward, unless it's conducive to the character. Like it's this character is a very highly skilled warrior with like a mace or a flail or something. She doesn't wade onto the battlefield and crush a dude with honking great knockers. Although you said she can't, she'd absolutely prove you wrong. Because the best orcs are competitive orcs. Yeah, like tusks. Which I'm actually tempted, because there was something I did for another orc I drew ages ago, where I actually adorned the tusks with like jewelry, so they actually capped in steel. I thought it's just obvious that's what any well-known orc or like orc with a little bit of money behind them would start doing that because it makes their tusks seem just a little bit more um, like they stand out just a little bit more. It's clear they put some money into it. They've got some like pride behind them with that. So I'm thinking I might go back and draw over one of these tusks and give it some what we call it, like metal on top of it. I have no excuses, Goblin. I mean, we were just talking about orcs and then them honking grey orc knockers. Because I actually found a subreddit not so long ago called Reasonable Fantasy, and it's all just basically female characters, like fantasy characters, just drawn reasonable. Like they're not just titillation, they're not just princesses to be rescued or anything like that. And it's actually a treasure trove of of like a lot of really great fantasy artwork and stuff that I would really like to draw. We should all want to see honking great knockers, but do the honking great knockers want to be seen, and is it conducive to the character? Like I'm all down for a character who walks into the room tits first, but it's actually massively like distracting if you want to tell the character something else, and really reductive if the character is meant to be something else. Just having them as a walking pair of tits, like, great, cool, okay, so you wanted to just not have another guy here. You don't like, come on. So if it's pointing to the character, all for it. If not, then what are you doing? Unless it's called Reasonable Fantasy. I'll see if I can find a link to it. It's not the busiest of Reddits in the world, but I have a lot of love for it because you get some really good. Cool, you got it. You get some really good artists in there, as well as me every now and again hawking my wares. And it really shows you like all these people that draw nothing but tits and chainmail have no excuse to do that. Like they've got, if that's what they want to draw, fair enough, absolutely fair. I will never begrudge someone if that's what they want to draw. But anyone that says, oh, I don't know how to draw women in armor. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Fuck off. It's not difficult. By and large, it's the same armor that the dudes are wearing. Like, I love all the the studies and videos on like why boob armor doesn't work. And for those that are wondering, if you have massive like tit armor, the what that does is it doesn't protect anything. All it does is any blow coming towards the chest, it just directs it straight to the middle, straight into the clavicle, and just crushes the rib cage. You cannot sell boob armor as any sort of like realty to it. Especially like if the armor comes into a point like this to show you that this character's got boobs. If they get a mace shot to the chest, that's just a point being driven into the rib cage. Basically, they're all fighting on hard mode because if they get one hit to the chest, they're done for. It's like a build your own Iron Maiden. The only time where boob armor or bikini armor is in the slightest bit acceptable is if the men are in speedo armor, and that shit I have so much time for. If everyone is in skimpy bikini armor, then by all means, have at. But as long as the boys and girls are all being treated the same, then I'm all for it. Like, if you've got Gimli strutting around Mordor in his, like, chainmail banana hammock, yes please. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's totally an anime idea out there somewhere doing that. But yeah, that's... I fall into traps as well because I've mithril budgie smugglers. Yes, that is what I want to see. Like if all the other characters, like if all the women are having to run around in their beachwear, you're damn right. I want Legolas in his beachwear as well. Well, that does bring up the idea, like, what do elves wear to the beach? Because I imagine elves being way more prudish. No worries, man. Elves are gonna be more prudish at the beach than anyone else, surely. Like you see the elves, they're all in like the whole like Victorian-esque like bloomers. Dwarves, I reckon that every beach is a nudie beach to dwarves. As soon as their feet hit sand, everything is off. Like they're not explicit exhibitionists, but they haven't got any shame either. I think that's the way to go for it. Really, is dwarves are skimping, elves are in their Victorian wear. So how long are we on? So let's bring this down here. And there. This coming out here. And then this comes round. I think the changing music was definitely a good idea. Ever since changing this playlist, like I feel like my energy is up. The chat's energy is clearly up. I was going to sleep before the previous music. It was too chill. Right. And this one goes up here. Hey man, what you do with this stream in the privacy of your own bed, that's your own business. You're a subscriber, you can do whatever you want while you're watching. You've paid for that permission. Everyone else, I expect to be up and taking notes. You've paid to chill out. Absolutely. That is your right as a subscriber. You get to watch in bed. You're basically paying my bills now. I've signed the lease on my flat over into your name. I hope you're ready. You better keep that sub coming, boy, otherwise I'm out of a home. You owe a lot of rent. If you want to play this game. I don't really have a comeback. Nothing polite, anyway. I mean, everyone's boss kind of pays their rent for them. It's just there's some steps in between. You are your own middleman for your boss renting your flat, is what we're saying here. That's the true capitalist nightmare we all live in. Right, and we're drawing this massive, chunky fucking arm. So I was thinking when I was originally like thinking of this character, I was going like, yeah, give him like fuckloads of tattoos, like loads of tribal stuff, and then I just piled on more and more armor. So basically, the only exposed skin that she's got is the arm that you can't really see, the shoulder of an arm that's been cut off at the bicep, and her face. It's like not much room for tattoos then. The Orcs, a horrible and wretched, violent race, but still weirdly prudish about tattoos. You wouldn't have thought it. And of course, she's wearing one fingerless glove. Because fingerless gloves are cool. And I'll hear no more talk about them not. How do you know this character's cool? We're wearing fingerless gloves, obviously. So then we'll do the shaft of the flail. So this is not going to be a fine weapon fit for your classic old human king. This is a brutal weapon that's been serving this orc well for years. It's crude, brutal, but very effective. Which is great because it means I don't have to draw any straight lines. Straight lines are for dwarves, curved lines are for elves, and rough squiggly lines are for orcs. Them's the fantasy rules, and I'll be hearing no arguments at this time. Let's join that up, and that's there. And that goes down there. And then we just make this a little bit rougher, so it's clearly made of wood. A little bit of texture here and there. Doesn't need to be a huge amount, but it tells you everything you need to know about what this thing is made of. And then something I did without thinking while sketching is loads of chains, and chains are a lot of work to draw. For not a lot of payoff. here. I've got that wrong, I think. Just coming through that way, so that needs to go there. Once again, welcome to Adam winging it. Yeah, that looks good. Right. Actually, this looks too chunky compared to the rest of it. So I think now here, this goes away from the camera, whereas before I was drawing it coming towards the camera, so the perspective was all wrong. This is much better now. Okay. So there's a lot more chain to come. I think I might leave that for next week. Because I'm a fucking coward sometimes when it comes to artwork. I think, what do we want to do next? Because I'm thinking it's about time that we start thinking about wrapping this up. For tonight, anyway. We'll bring her back next week as well. Sit down at the very least. Let's... No, let's do this leg pauldron here. No. See, my brush strokes are starting to get a little bit haphazard. And not in a good way. So looking at all like the dinks in the armor and stuff like that, there's actually something I wanted to do, which I think would give a good little bit of texture. And that is, rub this bit out, and draw in some cracks in the armor. It just gives it a little bit more texture. It's actually been battle worn. It's not in the best of repair because Orcs are ones to just run things into the ground rather than get things repaired. She's actually not wearing that much metal. So maybe like a slice along here. Just gives that a little bit more battle worn look. Like she's definitely seen some combat outside of like all the scars and the trophies. But I think that might be where we stay tonight. Yeah, I think so. So I picked up either at the weekend or Tuesday at the latest for the rest of this Orc Warlord. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming and joining. Thank you for coming and chatting. I haven't made any formal plans yet, but my current goal is 100 followers by some point. And I'm thinking of maybe doing some sort of a giveaway, potentially like an Etsy lot or something like that, as like a thank you for you guys for coming along and paying attention and sticking around more than anything like that. So if you haven't already, drop us a follow. It's all really, really appreciated and makes the channel look just a little bit busier and more legit. But other than that, I reckon we should leave off tonight with a little bit of a raid. See who's about. Perfect. Brandon Don't Trip just went live. So I reckon we should give Brandon a cheeky little raid. He's jumped in the chat a couple of times already. It's not coming up though. Let's see if I can fix this real quick. Let's see now if it's actually coming up with him. No, still. There he is. He's literally just gone live, so I think we'll give him a little bit of time to get his stream up and running. But if you guys have any ideas on what you would like to see as like a 100 follower sort of giveaway, let me know. Because I'm easy for pretty much anything. Art related, like if you're gonna ask me to come to your house, then I'm probably gonna have to say no. Unless you live local. And even then, no, it's lockdown, what are you thinking? Yeah, so he's playing some We Were Here, and he's live absolutely now. So I reckon we'll start the raid. And go jump in his chat, go say hi, tell him I sent you. And I'll see you all next time. Thursday for Breath of the Wild. See ya!